Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So after we knew that the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very crucial for the salvation of humankind, would like in this segment of the presentation to know what might be the sources of this guidance. And we came to know that the main source of the guidance came to the humankind is through the messengers. But the messengers came with a lot of messages, crucial messages. And the the question we'd like to address here is that to what extent one should know the message that has been brought by the messengers. I mean, if you pick an individual X, Y, Z from the mankind, are each individual asked to comprehend and understand the whole message, the 100% of the message of those prophets that they came and apply them in the society, or there is a variation? And in this context, what we have in Islam as fard kifaya and fard ain, obligation on the community, fard kifaya, and fard ain, which is obligation on the individuals. And what we mean by that is that fard kifaya is some divine ruling that is required to be applied on the society as a whole. So if the whole society doesn't apply it, they will be held accounted on the day of judgment. But if a group of them, based on their capabilities, apply this objective on the ground, so this objective is fulfilled in the ground, then not each individual will be asked or hold account on the day of judgment. For example, understanding the whole meaning of the Quran. It's not required for every individuals, but performing prayer is an obligation on individuals, for example, and so on. How about the fard ain, the obligation on individuals? This obligation on individuals varies. So there are a minimum level that each Muslim or each individual is able to perform, and like the testimony of Islam, like the and every individual is asked whatever his capability is suitable for, and that's why this obligation on individuals is a very flexible, and Allah knows the capacity and capabilities and competence and skill set of each individual, and Allah will not hold a person accountable for what is beyond his capability. If a person is incapable of comprehending or reaching to the knowledge of what the messengers has conveyed, then he is not asked for that, and so on. And would like to highlight that most of the people, when they go astray and deviate from the right path, the main source of this deviation is that they leave the message and the teachings of the prophets, and they leave the means that would reach them to this message that the prophets came up with, and the Quran, and whatever revelation has been came. And in this context, I would like to cite these verses 132 to 123, to 126 from Surah Taha. This verse says that فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُم مِّنِّي هُدًى فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. That if there should come to you guidance from me, Allah is talking to Adam. So this ayat comes in the context of the story of Adam and Eve. After Allah has sent down to earth what Allah told them, that in the earth there would come to you, O mankind, O son of Adam and Eve, lots of messengers with guidance. like Muhammad came with Quran, Musa came with Torah, and so on. So whoever follows my guidance will neither go astray, لا يضل ولا يشقى, nor will suffer. So astray in this world and suffering in the day of judgment. And whoever turns away from my remembrance, indeed will have a depressed life. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. So in this very life he will be depressed. وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. And on the day of judgment, I will gather him as blind. So he will be literally blind. He won't be able to see. So he will present his objection to Lord, saying that, O Allah, لِمَا حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى. Why have you raised me blind? وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. While I was once seeing. So Allah would reply and say, كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا. Thus did our signs came to you. Signs in terms of the message that the prophets came to them, and he had the ability. He had the ability, so it was fard ayn on him. It was an obligation of him because he had the ability to follow the message, but he did not, and he forgot them. And thus will you this day be forgotten. وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. Ibn Abbas said, taken from this ayah, that Allah has guaranteed that whoever reads the Quran and acts upon it will never go astray in this life, nor will he suffer misery in the next. And this is really a very golden speech by Ibn Abbas that depicts the suffering of this nation, the Muslim nation in our days. If we think about it, it's basically coming from this place, the deviation, the weakness, the suffering that we are going through. Its main cause then will be because of our deviation and negligence and ignorance of the Quran. I would like to end this segment with this beautiful hadith narrated by Ali radiallahu an, that the Prophet ﷺ said innaha satakun, that there will be trials and tribulations. So people asked him, how will we save ourselves? So the Prophet ﷺ replied, adhere to the book of Allah, and then he did mention a list of attributes, qualities of the books of Allah. He said, فِيهِ نَبَأُ مَا قَبْلَكُمْ. This book speaks of those who have gone before. So if you read Quran, you will find lots of stories of the prophets, Noah, Ad, Thamud. What was the cause of their destruction when they left the message of their prophets? وَخَبَرُ مَا بَعْدَكُمْ. And this Quran also contains the information of the coming nations. وَحُكْمُ مَا بَيْنَكُمْ. And tells the truth in clear and definite terms in matters concerning which you disagree. So any matter of dispute and disagreement, Quran has its say if we comprehend. And if we really analyze the verses of the Quran, any kind of disagreement you will find a solution in the Quran. هو الفصل. It is a decisive book. ليس بالهزل. It has not to be taken as an amusement. And we see many people just take Quran as amusement. They limit the Quran in just listening to the sound and music and the beautiful of the sound, which we think would be fine. But what is not fine is just limiting the benefit of Quran in that. So it is not to be taken as amusement. Man tarakahu min jabbarin qasamahu Allah. Whoever neglects it out of conceit will be destroyed by Allah. وَمَنْ ابْتَغَى الْهُدَى فِي غَيْرِهِ أَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ. Whoever looks guidance elsewhere will be misled by Allah. And this is again depicts, really pinpoints to the problem that we are facing today, that when we go to east and west, try to bring the legislation and rulings and things like that, and we leave the Quran behind. Huwa hablullah al-matin. It is the cord of Allah which will never break. Wa huwa dhikrul hakim. It's a wise message. Wa huwa siratul mustaqim. It's the right path. Wa huwa alladhi la tazighu bihi al-ahwa. Which will never be distorted by evil minds. ولا تلتبس به الألسن, or corrupted by wicked tongues. ولا تنقضي عجائبه, its mysteries will never end, its amazements will never end. ولا يشبع منه العلماء, nor will scholars ever be satisfied by what they know of it. So a scholar would think that he comprehended an ayah, but when he gives it a second thought, more meaning comes to him. He will never be satisfied fully. من قال به صدق, whoever speaks according to it has spoken the truth. ومن عمل به أجر, whoever acts upon it will be rewarded. ومن حكم به عدل, whoever rules according to it does the justice. ومن دعا إليه هدي إلى صراط مستقيم, and whoever calls to it invites to the straight path. In number 16, وَمَنْ عَمِلَ بِهِ أَجْرٌ, we know that whoever acts upon it will be rewarded. Means that if a person, from hadith, that if a person reads just one harf, one alphabet, so if he reads alif lam mim, alif is considered 10 rewards, lam is 10 rewards, mim is 10 rewards, so it's 30 rewards by reciting alif lam mim. So it's really a great opportunity for us to read the Quran, understand it, act upon it, try to find solutions to our real problems in the society, in our life, in our individual life, family life, and a society as a whole. So this is really the source of main guidance. So we'll leave you to the next segment, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullah.